I remember the day like it was yesterday. The sky outside was a dull gray, the kind that makes the whole world feel a little heavier, a little slower. I sat in my small, sunlit apartment in Chicago, staring blankly at the wall, as if the answer to my problems might suddenly appear there. My name is Sarah Mitchell, and for months, maybe even years, I'd been battling a feeling I couldn't quite put into words. It was a feeling of being stuck, like my life was caught in quicksand, and no matter how much I struggled, I couldn't pull myself free. I had a good job. Well, it paid the bills. I had friends who cared, a family that supported me. On paper, everything looked fine. But inside, I felt numb, like I was living someone else's life. It was exhausting. Every day felt like I was walking through fog, unsure which way to turn. One morning, after waking up feeling more drained than usual, I finally made a decision. I called Dr. James Carter's office and scheduled an appointment. I wasn't sure what to expect. Therapy wasn't something I'd ever seriously considered before, but I was desperate for change. When the day of the appointment arrived, I found myself nervously tapping my foot in the waiting room. The receptionist smiled kindly as she called my name. I followed her down a quiet hallway to a small, warm office filled with books, soft light, and an easy chair that looked inviting. Dr. Carter greeted me with a calm, reassuring smile. He was in his early 50s, with gentle eyes and a voice that seemed to slow down the world just by speaking. "Sarah," he said, "I'm glad you're here. What brings you in today?" I took a deep breath, unsure how to start. Finally, I said, "I feel stuck. Like I'm in this place where nothing changes, and I don't know how to move forward. I'm tired of feeling like this. What do I do when I feel stuck?" Dr. Carter nodded thoughtfully. "That's a very important question. Feeling stuck is something many people experience at some point. It's often a sign that something in your life isn't aligned with what you truly want or need. Let's explore that together." Over the next hour, he listened carefully as I shared bits of my story, my struggles with my job, my doubts about my friendships, the pressure I felt to have everything figured out by now. He explained that feeling stuck can come from many sources: fear, overwhelm, uncertainty, or even a lack of clear goals. Sometimes, the problem isn't that we don't want to move forward, but that we don't know which direction to choose. He asked me to think about what I valued most in life, what really mattered to me. I realized I hadn't thought about that deeply in a long time. Between work deadlines, social media distractions, and day-to-day routines, I had lost sight of my own compass. Dr. Carter suggested starting with small steps, focusing on tiny changes that could help me feel more in control. He also emphasized the importance of self-compassion, not beating myself up for feeling stuck or comparing myself to others. After that first session, I left feeling a flicker of hope. I started a journal, writing down my thoughts and feelings each day. I wrote about my fears, my dreams, and the moments when I felt even a little bit of joy. Some days were harder than others. I would slip back into old patterns, feel overwhelmed, or question if this was really working. But slowly, I began to notice small shifts. I started setting boundaries at work, saying no when I needed to. I reached out to a friend I hadn't talked to in a while, rekindling a connection that reminded me I wasn't alone. One afternoon, during another session with Dr. Carter, I told him about a new project I wanted to try, a photography class I'd always been curious about but never dared to join. "That sounds wonderful," he said. "Taking a step toward something that excites, you can break the cycle of feeling stuck. It's about rediscovering your passions and creating momentum." The photography class became more than just a hobby. It was a way for me to see the world differently, to focus on beauty and detail rather than stress and anxiety. It gave me something to look forward to, a purpose beyond the daily grind. Over time, the fog began to lift. The feeling of being stuck didn't vanish overnight, it never does, but I learned how to navigate through it. I learned to be patient with myself, to celebrate small wins, and to trust that progress isn't always linear. There were setbacks, of course. Moments when old doubts crept back in, when life threw unexpected challenges my way. But now I had tools to cope. I could recognize when I was slipping and gently steer myself back on course. Therapy taught me that feeling stuck is not a sign of failure. It's a signal, a call to pause, reflect, and realign with what truly matters. If you're feeling stuck right now, know that you're not alone. It's okay to feel uncertain, to take time to figure things out. Sometimes, the best thing you can do is ask for help, like I did that day in Dr. Carter's office. Remember, the journey out of feeling stuck starts with one small step, and that step can be as simple as asking, "What do I need right now?"